Hello, it's Charlie. Hope you're all very well and healthy under these very trying times. No one like me would ever guess that something like COVID-19 would literally put the world to a standstill. Right now, I'm in San Antonio, and we are living under a shelter-in-place order. So you can't go. Well, you not say you can't go out. You shouldn't go out unless you have to. And if you have to go out now, you should wear a mask. And so if you go to my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, that is, and you'll see a couple of photos of myself looking like an old bandit from the West. And if I did, the only thing I needed was a black hat, I could have been robbing the bank. But all the banks are closed right now. So with all this free time on my hands, we're all been playing our music, and Phil, I believe, was one who put out the order to to the community that we should be all looking deeper into our collection for things that we haven't played in a long time. And I've been doing that myself, though I've not been posting it as much because I've been binging spending a lot of my time binge watching television shows and movies and everything that I have not been able to see in some time. However, it gives me time to put together this video because I haven't done one of these in a while, and I think some people was kind of asking for one. So I'm probably going to do more of these as this quarantine process goes on. So this may be the first of many, many short but lively and hopefully entertaining videos. And today I want to talk about probably what was I think this was my last box set that I ever bought. I can tell you right now, it was the most expensive item of physical media that I ever purchased before. And this item was bought. I said, in fact, it's the receipt is still inside the box from Amazon, and it I bought it in August of 2009. So I want you guys to think about it for a minute. Think about what came out at that time that I might have bought, I might have purchased, and figure out what it was. But the cost of that box set was $238 American. I'm not sure how much that is in pounds, and I'm not sure how much it is now if you factor in inflation. But I remember that I bought this set. It was on sale, which was extremely rare at that time. From it was down to 238, from up from $250. And that box set is, if you haven't guessed what it was or what it is already, it was this: the Beatles In Mono. Yes, Beatles In Mono was probably the last box set that I ever purchased. I don't think I bought one ever since then. Maybe I might have got a Led Zeppelin box set a little bit after that one, but it wasn't quite as expensive as the Beatles were. As an old Beatles fan, I've been a Beatles fan for as long as I can remember, and I recall that the most ardent fans of the Beatles always wanted the mono mixes here in the United States, which was at one point was almost impossible to get unless you went to the bootleg market. And so when Apple Corps and at that time Capitol Records came out with what first came was the Beatles in stereo box set, which also on the CD, which cost just as much. I didn't jump at that because I already had the Beatles albums in stereo from the previous release, actually from 1987, from the very first time the Beatles albums were available on CD. I have all those on CD already, so the Beatles in stereo was not appealing to me whatsoever. So I had no need for those at all, but I wanted a mono box. Looked at that box set and I looked at that purchase and I told myself that I will never buy another Beatles product ever again. That's it, I'm done. I'm not buying any more Beatles products unless they come out with Let It Be on Blu-ray. And I'm not holding my breath for that event to happen anytime soon. Now this video is going to be a little bit unusual for me because this would be one where there will be no music at all. You will not be hearing any Beatles tracks in any of the backgrounds or any of the cuts that you may see in any of the edits you see in this video. Simply because I don't want to see the video get taken down by Facebook or YouTube copyright police. In order to avoid a takedown notice from Facebook and or YouTube, you'll not be hearing any Beatles tracks. For what came in the box, I was rather happy about the quality and the look of the box itself. One of the things is that all the albums or all the CDs came in replicas of the albums, which is great. In some cases, they're even a gatefold. For comparison, I shot 2009 mono set of Sgt. Pepper right next to the 1987 version of Sgt. Pepper, which, in my opinion, I think is a really good stereo replica of the album. The booklet that comes with the '87 release of Sgt. Pepper is much more concise than the one that's overstated book that came with box set. The booklet inside the mono box it's really good. It's very concise. It's very interesting to read and such. But I mean, of course, it'll take like an encyclopedia to cover all those things in the proper way and such. There's pictures and there's a lot of information about how the albums were put together. The mono box set covers every Beatles album from the debut up to Magical Mystery Tour, and after that, all the Beatles albums were done in stereo. The mono version of the past Masters albums, both the black and white or Volumes 1 to Volume 2, have usually one or two additional tracks over the previously released stereo editions. So what do I like when I hear the mono box set? Obviously, Sgt. Pepper. Sgt. Pepper is a much better, in my opinion, a better sounding, a better mixed album than it is in stereo. Because we all know that stereo mixes were done after the fact and not done with the band's participation. But the mono version of Sgt. Pepper is wonderful. I like it. I also gained an affinity to an album that I wasn't too particularly keen on for many years by the Beatles, and that's the White Album. The White Album was a bit of a rambling mess that the band was fractured. They couldn't get along. George Martin couldn't work with them that much, and it was just a mess. But however, in the mono set, at least the mono mix of that album, it seems a bit more cohesive. Maybe not as bad as I always thought that album was sounding to me by my ears. I particularly like the mono version of Helter Skelter. That's my go-to version from ever since I've heard it. Love that song. It goes without saying now that this mono box set is out of print. And I have not checked eBay or Discogs for what the going prices on true authentic versions of the box set. I have no idea, but I'm sure they're not cheap. I have seen many pictures and many stories about counterfeit and bootleg copies of the box set coming out of Russia or China or Korea. I don't know how you can tell one from the other, but I'm sure there's ways. My box set, all the discs, all the CDs were pressed in Japan, which is kind of interesting, I believe, because the 1987 CDs of the Beatles albums the ones that I have here were all pressed in West Germany, or at least then was known as West Germany. I will not hold out hope for another re-release of this set ever again. It could happen. You have to wait for some sort of anniversary. I don't know whose anniversary is coming up next, but I don't see the Apple Corps ever re-release these albums on vinyl or on CD anytime soon, because I just don't see them I don't think they have any reason to do that anymore, especially if they're available now on streaming services and such. But that's my thoughts, and these are my pictures of the Beatles in Mono. Bye.